how do you say take it to one person?
Parto.
Parto. And what if you were talking to more than one person?
Pareteto.
Paretetto. But here, most commonly, you would hear parteto, because the ete contracts very easily with the R. So you may just have to listen out. Especially with orders, we tend to give the same orders all the time. So you can hear live the different versions that you're most likely to hear. So far, we've been using the closed version for the order. No, but this may not necessarily always be the case. If you want to say in Greek such things or things like this, you can say tetia pragmata, tetia pragmata.
Tetia pragmata.
So if you say something like don't show me things like these, even though you may be referring to now, you might actually hear a habit of just using that open form, because when you say something like don't show me these kind of things, don't show me things like these, it has a general open feeling, don't show me things like this, generally. So how would you do that? Don't show me this kind of thing.
Min mu dhishnis tetia pragmata.
Good. Min mu dhishnis tetia pragmata. So we could see the open form, the open standard form of the verb in orders as well. What was I eat?
Tro.
Tro. And the closed version?
Fau.
Fau. How would you say don't eat it?
Min mintofas.
Good. Just mintofas. How would you say don't eat this kind of thing?
Min fas tetia pragmata.
Good. Min fas tetia pragmata is possible, but maybe with tetia pragmata you mean, this kind of junk food generally, in which case you might give an ongoing general order.
Min tros tetia pragmata.
Min tros tetia pragmata. The floor is to patoma, to patoma.
To patoma.
We saw this pat in per patao, which means to walk. And the patoma, to patoma is the floor, where you step. So if you say don't eat off the floor to your child or your dog or whatever, you may be giving a general order. So don't eat off the floor. Don't eat from the floor.
Mintros apotopatoma.
Good. Mintros apotopatoma or aptopatoma. We can contract aptopatoma. So that's how we tend to make orders in Greek with the great majority of verbs. But you may find exceptions, like those verbs ending ao or o with the accent on the end. So for example, how is I speak?
Milao.
Milao. So for speak, you could go from the closed version, which is what?
Miliso.
And say speak. How would that be?
Milise.
Good. Milise. Speak to me.
Miliseme.
Very nice with the accent. But it's not so much me, no? Speak to me.
Milisemu.
Milisemu. So with our verbs with our accent on the ending, we actually get our closed order, milise, in the same way as with any other verb. We take our closed form, we use an e, and if we have a longer verb, we make sure our accent is third from the end, milise. But our open, ongoing order for verbs like milao, rodao, that can end ao as well as o. For these verbs, instead of using an e, they use a. So we get mila, mila. And as this is much easier to say than milise, you might hear this more often than milise, mila. So you could hear both milise, milisemu, or milamu. The same with I ask, for example. What was I ask?
Rotao.
Rotao. Ask us.
Rotamas.
Rotamas. No, you can say rotamas, like milamas, rotamas. So with verbs like milao, rotao, these open orders are also like shortcuts. They're really used much more, even when we don't necessarily mean an open time. So min me rotas or milamu. But generally speaking, our open order, the order based on the open standard form of the verb, gives us an ongoing open feeling of an ongoing order. So Greek makes us think about whether our orders are ongoing. When we say, don't eat that kind of trash, do we mean right now or generally speaking? But our open order form is also used to achieve another feeling. So this open order, which we form with the standard version of the verb, either without e, like we do for most verbs, or with a, with our verbs ending ao, this open version of the order, of the imperative, can be used for ongoing orders or ideas that we understand as ongoing, but it also has a feeling of like get going, start writing, start going, get going. So you can also use this open form when you're a bit impatient, for example, or, if you want to give the feeling of get on with it, γράφε, get writing. So we can also use the open orders for that feeling, which of course, if we think about it, is just another ongoing feeling, no? Get writing, start writing, that's an open, ongoing feeling, which we're using our open standard verb form for. So again, this is something we want to listen out for and understand in real life in context, how this is used and the feeling associated with it. How would you say, ask me whatever you want?
Ρώτα με ό,τι θέλεις.
Ρώτα με ό,τι θέλεις. Good. So we might be using rota here, just because it's much easier than ρώτησε. We may be using rota because we mean, generally, whenever you can ask me whatever you like, that's open. Or we may be using rota here to mean like, come on, just get on with it and ask me what is it that you want to know. No? Like get asking, rota. So this is why, whilst we talk about what's going on there in Greek, you really want to just listen out and see what people tend to use in different contexts. What was the word just for what rather than whatever?
Τι.
And the word for never, very similar to when, just with a change in accent. So we have ποτέ when and
ποτέ.
The word for nothing or anything, is τίποτε or τίποτα. You can hear both in Greek, τίποτε, τίποτα. Although τίποτα is much more common, τίποτα.
Τίποτα.
Don't ask us anything. Don't ask us anything.
Μην μας ρωτήσεις τίποτα.
Μην μας ρωτήσεις τίποτα. Or we could just mean generally, an ongoing order. How might that be?
Μην μας ρωτάς τίποτα.
Good. Μην μας ρωτάς τίποτα. Of course, we'll also find other ways of finding the order. For example, if we have a closed version that's very small, like po, from Leo, I say, I tell, like lo, from vlepo, I see, we have a slightly different order. For tell me, we have pes, pesmu, tell me.
Pesmu.
For see, like giving an order, we have this.
Δες.
Maybe in something like δες θέατρο με 10 ευρώ. What does that mean? Δες θέατρο με 10 ευρώ.
Come and see a theater play for 10 euros.
Yeah, exactly. And see theater for 10 euros. Or with 10 euros in Greek. Με 10 ευρώ. Very good.